secret card so we could get those big packages along with Cam Scatterboo that were huge in Baltimore.
Wake up this morning. Are you feeling okay? You look at A.J. Brown, which is this number one wide receiver who got one target all night, and then you got CeeDee Lamb.
But that's the
when was the one target?
That's the target.
But
though.
I'm saying
when was the one target?
I'm saying you could have it both ways.
54 seconds left in the game on 2nd and 11. It was the one target. He runs the out route.
You wake up this morning saying A.J. Brown had a better day than CeeDee Lamb.
But you know what you wake up saying though? A.J. Brown's team is 1-0.
Of course,
right? Like that's what
I get it.
But the thing is this though, and we shouldn't do this on TV, and so I apologize if people think this is rude. That's the non-player.
Oh, stop! CeeDee Lamb is.
Let me tell you why. I'm not looking
at fantasy football, Ryan. I'm not. Don't belittle me like that. I could come in and say, as 3 ex-players are saying one thing, and give an alternative perspective that maybe CeeDee Lamb did play well. And
Peter, what I need for you to do is not get mad and let me finish for one.
Okay, go on.
It wasn't about you. It was going to be about me.
Okay.
As a player, I can't speak for CeeDee Lamb. I'm speaking for.
Let's go. So they got rid of Ryan Clark, man, and that's starting to kind of be the talk of the town. And they got rid of him. And shout out to my boy Urban Politician. I watched his video on it. They got rid of him in the middle of doing a segment. In the middle of a show, right after a segment, he talked about Jaden Daniels. Now, he get the balance of of what they owe him though in the severance package. And people are pointing to an issue where he told Peter Swagger on Get Up. They're pointing to that where he told him that you haven't played you ain't played the game, and this is from my perspective as a player. He took it as disrespect. Ryan Clark said a lot of things that, got people up in arms. Attacking RG3 when he had a white girl, and he got a white baby mama in his archives. You know what I'm saying? Captain Simp for Keisha, Simp Isha. You know what I'm saying? There's a bunch of stuff, but I like Ryan Clark, honestly, as a player, undrafted, grinding his way up. I think he's good on television. Bro, the way they ride, I just got to ask the question. You 50 feet from the next car, Lee, what are you hitting your brakes for? But check out the music entertainment playlist, thumbs up the video, share the video, subscribe to the channel. And this is probably a humiliation for him for what he did to Schrager. Now, if you didn't know, and I think a lot of people don't know this, or they may, the NFL sold, I think, parts of their company to ESPN, to Walt Disney. Walt Disney owned ESPN, ABC, Disney, Marvel. So a lot of people were complaining about it who understand business. And basically that means that ESPN ain't gonna report certain things because there's a conflict of interest. So they're gonna be able to really shove a lot of things up under the rug because now they're in bed with another media giant. So I think in a few years, like the red zone and all that, the red zone is gonna go to ESPN. So Schrager and that other dude that come from NFL Network, I started watching NFL Network because it was too moist. Peter Swagger, even on Get Up with Mike Greenberg, too moist. Sorry, dog. Like, when you watch sports shows, you watch it for the masculinity. You watch it for the masculinity. That's why you watch it. You watch it for the masculinity, and then the girls that be on there, you watch it for the eye candy. That's what you're watching it for. You don't want to hear a bunch of guys don't even remotely look like they played the game on no level. Pee Wee, Pop Warner, Pal, high school. That's why sports messed up now. The nerds have integrated into sports, and the nerds are like, okay, a lot of y'all done integrated into anime, and we used to get beat up for being anime weirdos. I get it. I understand their pain. So now they've integrated into sports because it's a way to make money. Fantasy football, betting, daily fantasy football. But I don't want to watch them on my TV screen. I don't want to take advice from them. I don't want to see them talking basketball. I don't want to see them talking football. I'm sorry, I don't want to see Brian Windhorst breaking no LeBron news. What's the brother name? I like the brother, Chris Haynes. You know, I like Chris Haynes. You know, I like Peter Vesey. You know what I'm saying? Ahmad Rashad, he played ball. You know, that's different. You know, like certain guys that don't mind. I didn't mind Ryan Clark, he played the game. But they keep goofies like Dan Orlowski on TV. They keep goofies like Orlowski on TV. That's the crazy thing about it. Orlowski was a backup quarterback. He's a goofy. But with Peter Schrager and his other friend, kind of a little bit more masculine. Schrager too moist to be on TV, man. Too soft. I mean, too like, you know, like I don't want to see Schrager talking about football, man. Go talk linens and talk shit with Martha Stewart. Why don't you do that? Go talk with Martha Stewart. Go talk about making a lemon meringue pie or some shit. That's what I don't understand. Go talk about that. You know? That's what they should be talking about. And that's why nobody watches ESPN, because either you got a lot of these athletes that's trying to stay relevant and they pillow talking and they pillow talking, you know, talking about rumors and shit that happened 20 years ago, or this player texts me this. They trying to do stuff for shock value to stay on TV. They trying to buffoon and coon. That's why when they get on their platforms, they can speak the way they want to speak, but then when ESPN buy them up, they can't speak the way they really want to speak. You know what I mean? So, you know, so now Ryan Clark can have freedom. You know, you still get your chili. They owe you whatever they owe you to balance. They owe you from your contract, but they humiliated him. The world champions of disc golf is crazy. I won't mind playing. But they tried to humiliate him for a payback from Schrager. Schrager probably one of them people, them ish people. You know what I'm saying? That's payback for what he did to Schrager on TV. I'm so shitty, you guys think. Like, it ain't even that you ain't played. It don't like you played on no level, bro. That's why people don't watch ESPN no more, bro. It's just dorky, man. It's just nerdy. It's moist. It's lavender. It's reading rainbow. I mean, it's a wrap, man. It's not entertaining no more. You know, debate, talk, taking sports radio and putting it on TV is old news. Tired of it. They cover the same shit every day. They got the same overreaction when the team do something. Oh, you know, it's just the same shit. But then also they gave Pat McAfee all that money. And Pat McAfee is cool. I don't think, you know, I ain't gonna say what he worth. I don't think he worth $60 million. I don't watch the Pat McAfee show. I watch the clips here and there. But ESPN is a total turnoff. It really is. ESPN is a total turnoff, bro. There's no point in watching it. There's no, other than watching sports on it. Like, you know, NBC came out with the feature where you can mute the commentators. ESPN is dead. Everything Walt Disney has touched is died. They're killing it. Star Wars, Marvel, ESPN, ABC. Everything Walt Disney is touching, it is dying, bro. Nobody fuck with Walt Disney, bro. It's trash. Think about it. It's on Toy Story 5. Why are we on Toy Story 5? Why are we on Toy Story 5? Riddle me that. Y'all don't have an idea to come up with another better thing? You know, but in general, now Ryan Clark can, you know, let his nuts hang, loosen his tie. and speak how he want to speak now. You know what I mean? Keep doing the Pivot podcast, all that stuff. He can speak how he want to speak. You know, he got a little visibility on ESPN, but I don't watch none of that shit. The only thing that I remotely will watch is when my mans from the coast do it. And I watched it before him, but I like him. He be on the Pat McAfee show sometime. Darius something. Only thing I will watch is NFL matchup with him. And that's the best show that they got on ESPN, NFL matchup. That's the best show that they have, where he breaks down the film. It ain't no backdooria. It ain't no moisture in the room. It's just real football. That's the only show that I really will, and they put it on at the awkward times too. They best show they put on the awkward times. Love NFL, man. Everything else that ESPN is doing, I'm not a fan of. You know, other than like Aikman, I like Aikman and Joe Buck. I might be in the minority liking Joe Buck, but I like Aikman and Joe Buck. Calling the game, I have no issue. I don't mind hearing Chris Collinsworth. People about commentators are I like Doris Burke, might be in the minority there, but people just want something to bitch about. Commentators, I don't like Tony Romo, how he predicts the play. And real football guys, real guys that like basketball, you like hearing intellectual stuff. People like, let me tell you something about commentators real quick. People like stuff broken down. They would like stuff casual shit. That's why I stopped playing Madden, because it's too casual. Madden has become closer to Blitz, and I love Blitz, but it's become closer to Blitz and to not, NBA Streets. It's become closer to a non-sim. It's really non-simulation. You know what I'm saying? They do stuff for casuals, bro. Everything has to be broken down to the simplistic form. People who really enjoy sports and enjoy the integral parts and learning more things and plays and, why did he flood the zone, or why did he do this? He sat and he threw it. We like hearing that shit. We like hearing that version of that. I like hearing that, but hey, check out the Music Entertainment playlist, thumbs up the video, share the video, subscribe to the channel. Appreciate the love, support. Peace.
According to Andrew Marchand of The Athletic, Pat McAfee is expected to receive a contract extension from ESPN with a salary at $60 million per year. Whoa now. I cannot be the only person that saw the $60 million tag and thought, wait a minute, what? And I have two separate yet equally important thoughts about this. The first one is, that's great news for people like me. That's great news for unique voices, especially independent voices that own their own business. That is great news, because what it means is that if you're good and if you get viewership or you get ratings or you get whatever, there's $60 million a year out there for you. That is good news. Again, if you're like me. The second thought I have on this, which again, these are separate yet I think equally important thoughts. I need somebody to explain to me how Pat McAfee's worth $60 million a year to ESPN. And I'm sure he is. Jimmy Pitaro, the guy who runs ESPN, he's not an idiot. He's not John Skipper. So he's not just going to give McAfee $60 million a year unless they've crunched the numbers and the data and everything else and they've decided he is totally worth it. And I could see the possibility if ESPN is monetizing all of his digital revenue. So if ESPN is getting the YouTube money that he's getting, I think I could see it. But as far as Pat McAfee actually bringing in, when you combine College Game Day and his 2-hour block that's on linear television, when you factor that in and you say, hey, McAfee is worth $60 million to us, I'm going to need somebody to show me how that works. And not just $60 million. He's worth $60 million a year. Colin Cowherd left ESPN for Fox 10 years ago because he wanted $6 million a year. Same with Skip Bayless. What about McAfee is worth $60 million? Now, I think Joe Buck and Troy Aikman are probably a little overpaid, but Ryan Glasspiegel told me, he said, look, the NFL wanted Buck and Aikman on Monday Night Football, and they give them better games because they have Buck and Aikman. So it's worth the $40 million combined they're paying for those guys. Fine. Makes sense to me. I have a pretty good knowledge base for how these guys make money and what they're worth to the networks and things like that. $60 million a year for McAfee? So you're telling me McAfee is more important to ESPN than Sean Hannity is to Fox News? I don't think that doesn't compute for me.